Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Ultimate Facebook family. No, Ultimate Coach. Facebook group family. Whatever. Hey, I've been haven't been on here in a bit. My apologies. Been a little busy. But that's never an excuse. That's not true. It's not that I've been busy. A lot of thoughts swirling around, a lot of things percolating up. Luis and I are about 6 days away from pulling up tent stakes. We're here in, hey, good morning. Thank you for the heart. Hey, Ben. We're about to pull up tent stakes here in St. Petersburg and head west. We will be in Phoenix for the month of May, and then Park City, Utah, June, July, August, and then back in Phoenix, September, October. Hey, Dell. Good morning. So, yeah, if you live in or near one of those areas, make sure to hit me up, and we'll see what we can do about getting connected. Man, I got some fun stuff to talk about today. And I got my coffee. Haven't had my coffee yet. Got my Peloton ride in. Lots to talk about today. Wow, thanks for all the hearts, everyone. You know, I've been on a kick talking about prospecting, selling, and rolling, you know, whatever words you want to use for it. And I think that's because the great irony in my life is I'm sort of back where I started. So most people in this community know me as a coach. What they don't know is that for 20 something years I was a consultant specializing in sales development, sales process, methodology, building sales systems, helping companies grow, right? Very passionate about sales. Before that, I ran a company that actually brought new folks into a career in sales. And it was so much fun helping people transform their lives. Hey, Chris, good morning. By gaining access to a career that actually can pay you real money, right? The thing that I've always loved about sales is somebody of average intelligence, average motivation. You know, you don't have to have advanced degrees. You can make great money, right? Shitty salespeople these days make $50,000, $60,000 a year, which is, you know, not a ton of money, but it's not bad. Selling is serving, yes. Well, at least the way I think it is. A lot of folks don't, but we'll see what we can do about that. And before that, I was in corporate sales. So let's just say I didn't have a real job till I was 27. Most people don't know that about me. Worked in bike shops and did a lot of fun stuff. I wanted to be a professional bike racer. But until about 3 years ago, you know, everything in my life was focused on sales, right? So 23 years. And when I shifted to coaching, initially, my idea was I'm all done with all this corporate stuff and the money game and all that. And I started coaching with Rich Litvin at the time. I was doing some one-on-one work with him, and it was just really powerful and incredible. And I remember about 6 months into this journey, I was working with a number of folks on a coaching relationship, and I was bored. Like, no disparaging remarks to anybody in the coaching profession. This isn't about coaching, this is about me. I was like, all this blah, blah, blah about feelings and inner peace, which I care about, like, that in and of itself is boring, just as much as the money game was boring, right? Like, the money game got boring to me. It got boring to help people just create piles of money, believe it or not. It also was pretty boring to just think about spending the rest of my life, you know, talking fuzzy, conceptual, how do you feel, are you at peace stuff without also money. So, hey, Rich. So it was really funny that I started pivoting back to I like playing a game called Let's Make a Bunch of Money with, people who like playing that game and also want to play an inner game. Anyway, fast forward to about, let's just call it, that doesn't really matter. 2 months ago, I formally launched an offering that is now squarely back in the world of sales training, sales development, largely in the corporate side. I've launched this thing called Being for Sales. And it's taking all the work that I do. Yeah, it is an awesome game, Ben. Taking all the work I do and bringing it back into the world of selling, almost like a Trojan horse, right? Because companies will pay a lot of money and people will pay a lot of money for the prospect of learning to make more money. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's really tangible ROI. What they don't realize is that's kind of the booby prize, right? This make more money thing is the fun part, the easy part. What this experience is creating for people is not just the capacity to sell more, but to serve their clients better, but also to have more deep, powerful, intimate, compelling, meaningful relationships with people in their company, their peers, their prospects, their clients, their families, right? These folks kind of come to this training program, this sales training program, and they, are done with me after a couple months, and they're like, man, my wife keeps asking what's different about me, what's going on. She says I'm nicer to be around, and my kids talk to me more and stuff like that. So that's really meaningful. Anyway, that's a whole lot of setup. Just to say that I'm really pumped to be talking about being as it relates to selling, right? And I just use the word selling. To me, it's the same as serving. And it really has to do with creating invitations for folks to serve them. And they receive value from what we provide for them. And that's how, we make money somehow. Could be coaching, could be anything, could be consulting, could be software sales. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to talk a bunch today about things that relate to the world of selling, enrolling, however you want to think about it, right? And some of the challenges that come up, at least they can be challenges for me, and I imagine if they're challenges for me, having done this a lot of years, they're probably also challenges for other people as well. So one of the things I'm thinking about a lot, and I think I got this rattling around my head from an email that Rich Litvin sent out. And he said something like, and it might even be a Steve Chandler thing, through Rich Litvin, it doesn't matter. What's a no worth? Like how we could shift our mind, to like, well, if you charge this much and a client's worth this much, every no is worth this amount. And I thought that was pretty cool, right? That's one way to shift our orientation towards no's. But to me, it's still a downstream way of doing it. It's still after I've had the negative thought about it, right? After my being has already produced some negativity, well, I can rationalize it by saying, well, that no is really worth $150, right? So that works. And I'm always asking the question, how can we go upstream and take a look at the being that's producing the original thought? Oh, God, a no, right? Because when we're about to invite somebody, in most cases, there's resistance. There's resistance to create an invitation, to make an ask, to be direct, to be powerful, because the being has this idea we don't want to be rejected. We don't want to hear a no, and everybody feels that to some extent. Most people feel that to some extent, and they tend to develop systems to rationalize it or justify it or overcome it, and nothing wrong with that. But for me, working at the level of being is all about saying, how could I shift my being such that I don't even produce that thought? That would be more powerful. Which is why we ask this question, who would I need to be to, right? And I think a lot of people ask the question, who would I need to be to get more yeses? Hello, Raymond, good morning. Who would I need to be to get more yeses? Who would I need to be to not get no's, or to not feel bad about no's and to get more yeses? Well, the two challenges there are trying to create a future state of not upset with or not feeling rejected by is really self-referencing. I'm not going to get into that today. I've talked about that before. Not anything as a destination is actually a destination to that thing. So if I say I want to shift to not feeling bad, thank you, Ben, or, getting more yeses, who do I need to be to get more yeses? Who do I need to be to not feel bad? I'm going to run into some challenges, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't control the yeses. I can't get more yeses. Here's a little side note. This is one of the things I'm glad I remembered. I'll just be blunt. People can look at me and go, man, that guy really, he knows how to enroll people and he's a powerful, blah, blah, blah. And I am. Man, I'm good. People could look at Steve Hardison and say, man, that guy's just an incredible, powerful enroller, like, $200,000 a year to work with him. Man, he's just like, picking those off trees like oranges. It's a load of horse shit, right? It's complete nonsense. People have no idea the number of no's, and I won't speak for Steve, but for me, the number of no's that I get. And that's just the beginning. The number of no's I get are only possible because of the 10x factor of vanishing peoples I get, ghosting I get, and they never heard from him again's I get, right? I track all of my outreach, all the stuff I do. Last year, I think 60 folks were enrolled in 50 were enrolled in my Creating Your Extraordinary Life. I probably brought on, 7 one-on-one clients, something like that. And some other stuff, it doesn't really matter. Hundreds of no's and no thank yous and many more, nothing, crickets, chirp, 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 all right? That's a lot of outreach, that's a lot of contact, that's a lot of thinking that this being produces, right? I'm human too, am I being pushy? Am I being annoying? Do they hate me? What do they think about me? Blah, 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 right? I got all those thoughts. I work with them, but I got them. So invariably, and I don't mean this like I'm better than anybody, but invariably, when I'm talking to somebody who shares that they're struggling enrolling folks, they're not building their business fast enough, what have you, when I dive down into the numbers of it, I'm like, dude, the number of no's you got last year is like the number I got, last month. And there's no other way around it, right? There is no magical formula. All this crap you see on Facebook or Instagram, all these systems and people reaching out to you, telling you they're going to magically fill your pipeline. Yeah, good luck, dude. It just doesn't work that way. How do I know? I've been in this game for, decades. And for decades, I've seen people promising systems like that. So I'm always like, I don't know, it's not like those programs are completely useless. If nothing else, you learn not to follow those programs anymore. But I digress. I just want to make the point that building a successful practice is absolutely a function of how many people you can talk to, how many people you can invite, and how many no's and crickets, let's call them, you're willing and able and even lovingly looking to generate. So here's what I'm gonna suggest as an idea. Instead of asking the question, who would I need to be to get more yeses, or who would I need to be to not let no's bother me, what if we asked, who would I need to be such that every no, every I don't know, and every I'll never talk to you again is learning. It's not something. I'll feel the way I feel about it. I might be happy, I might be sad, I might be bummed, I might not be bummed, but I will create it as learning. Hey, Mom. Everybody can say hi to my mom. I'm talking about sales, Mom. I love that. My mom always said growing up I was going to be a lawyer. I think I'm doing a little better than that. Anyway, Who would I need to be such that every no, every I don't know, and every cricket was learning from me? I learned something from it. And I felt the way I felt about it, right? I have real blood running through my veins. I'm not a cyborg. There are feelings I have about people that in some cases I've served powerfully and they ghost me. There are thoughts I have about what are they saying about what's this crazy guy up to these days? Why isn't he just sticking to his sales stuff? I have those thoughts. I don't try to not have those thoughts. I have those thoughts and I learn. Who would you need to be to treat every no as a learning experience and feel how you felt about it and know that that was okay? When I was with Steve last week, he shared a beautiful gem of a quote, a pearl of wisdom, and it really crystallized, this idea, and I want to make sure he gets credit for it. Every conversation and every interaction is practice for the next conversation/interaction, right? That's a statement you could speak to your being. I am that every conversation and every interaction is practice for the next conversation and interaction. And I'll feel the way I feel about it. That's a statement of being you could create yourself with. Like people are putting these declarations out there. That could be a statement in there. So one of the things I went to Steve with last week was this question: who am I scared to coach? Who am I scared to approach? And he shared something with me that really, there's two things that happened that really stretched me, and they started out feeling really uncomfortable. The first thing is, Steve said to me, there is nobody that I wouldn't put you in front of that I wasn't certain would, from working with you, experience a powerful transformation. There's nobody I wouldn't put you in front of. That's kind of a big deal coming from Steve. And I could feel my being just resisting that and not wanting to receive it, right? Oh, he's just saying that. He's my coach. I pay him, right? I know Steve speaks the truth. He doesn't speak because anybody's paying him. But the thoughts are still, oh, he's just saying that, right? He's pumping me up. That's what coaches do. So I was working my way through that. And we were exploring this idea of who should I be coaching? Who should I be going after? Just as an idea. It's not like I need to go find clients, but I'm always playing this game of like, who am I scared to be coaching that I could reach out to? And what I was saying to him was I can't even think of anybody that I'm scared to. And I know there's somebody I am scared to approach, but I can't think about them. See, at a certain point, that's how fear works. It's not just that fear will make you afraid of something. It'll actually keep you from seeing it in the first place. So I would need to see who they are to even be afraid of it. And at this point, I can't even see them. Like it's almost like it's a blind spot for me. So, Steve being Steve, pops off with what, in my mind, would be the most extreme possibility, which is, well, how about Elon Musk? And it was visceral. It was instant. It was like the storm shutters boom, coming down. Like immediately the thinking was like, there's no way. Elon Musk, are you kidding me? Like, let's not even talk about how I would get to him. That's way down the line. What the hell could that guy possibly want from me or anybody? Like just thinking. And those are unanswerable questions. How the hell would I know what Elon Musk wants, right? But that was a really powerful exercise to simply create that suggestion and then say, okay, I'm going to do something really uncomfortable here. I'm going to imagine coaching Elon Musk. I'm going to imagine I'm sitting across from him. Man, like even trying to work through that in Steve's office, frankly, even sharing it here is really weird, right? Like, who's this guy think he is? You're going to coach Elon Musk. And this isn't about coaching Elon Musk or even assuming Elon Musk needs coaching. It was just like Let me put myself there, like it's real. I'm doing it, and let's see what shows up, right? If I got committed to I'm coaching Elon Musk and started creating and talking about it, what would get kicked up in terms of thinking, right? That's one of the secrets of the game of commitment, living life, playing the game of commitment, shifting your state of being to commitment. Is commitment creates a lot of things. One of the things it creates is some really interesting thinking to work with about the commitment, right? So I'm committed to whoever I would sit in front of would be incredibly valuable for them, and they would have a transformation, including Elon Musk. So what's showing up? What's all the thoughts that are being produced from that place? Not Elon Musk coaching him as a place to get to, like a goal, but as a place to come from. Okay, I'm coaching Elon Musk now. What's going on? What thinking, what thoughts are being produced from my being coming from the place I'm coaching Elon Musk? And it was like a Gatling gun of thoughts. And honestly, it took till about yesterday that they really started to gel and distill into something that I felt was, really useful for me. And that's one of the things I want to share this morning. Because there were hundreds, maybe thousands of thoughts produced from this simple exercise. I'm coaching Elon Musk. Well, how would I get with him? Blah, blah, blah. Who am I to do that? How would I bill him? All sorts of stuff. He probably is too busy. Anyway, just thoughts, working through them, looking. Jackson's here, by the way, in case you can't see him. And what I saw last night was, to me, very simple, but it served very profoundly. And it was this idea that and I'll speak for myself, and you can see what's there for you guys, I associate superiority with authority. Now, when I talk about superiority, what I mean is simply that someone is better than another at something. Somebody knows more than another. Not better as in absolutely better, but like, more knowledgeable, smarter, richer, wealthier, what have you. When I talk about authority, I'm talking about personal authority, right? Not authority over somebody, but the personal authority to ask for something. Like, you go to a restaurant and they're going to seat you by the kitchen, right? They're going to give you that table that every server's walking by. Okay, here's your table. Well, some people sit down. There you go, buddy. And some people say, hey, I like that booth over there, right? They're not exercising authority over the host or hostess. They're granting themselves personal authority to make a request, right? I have the authority to ask for a better table, right? That's just the example. So that's authority. Now, what I got sight of, what I caught glimpse of, was the degree to which, hey, let's not lick on camera. Come on, they're watching you. What I got sight of was the degree to which I associate superiority, my superiority, with the granting of personal authority, right? Here's what that means. If I see myself as superior to someone, well, then I grant myself the authority to present myself to them, to make an invitation to them, right? So I can grant authority. What's up, Trevor? Good morning, my friend. If you guys aren't following Trevor and watching his stuff, you really should. That man, well, should I say it? Should I tell him, Trevor? Oh, I'll tell him. When I was in Steve's office last week, he said, you let that Trevor know that he's the future. You let that Trevor know he's the future of what's going to bring peace to this planet. So I'd say follow Trevor. He's an incredible man, doing just some incredible work. Oh, God. Yep. So what I saw was the degree to which I associate, I conjoin, I conflate my superiority with my authority, right? If I see myself as superior to someone, I have the authority, grant myself the authority. You're just a lickster today, aren't you? I grant myself the personal authority, nice work, Trevor, to approach them, make an ask of them, offer my insight. And isn't that interesting, right? Like, where does that idea come from? Where does it say? Where is it written? Where is there a law that says, well, you can't have an opinion about something unless you know more than everybody, unless you're better than everybody or better than someone? And in fact, I think there's that, parable, the emperor's new clothes, where, in the end, it's the little child or the village idiot, I can't remember, who's the one to say, hey, guys, he ain't wearing no clothes, right? That was the wisdom in the room. There's a lot of times the wisdom in the room ain't superior. There's a lot of times the person who most needs to be heard doesn't have any relative superiority in intelligence, in stature, in power, in anything to anybody else. And yet, I'll speak for myself, and I guarantee there's people watching this who, if you pay attention, you'll notice where you're not granting yourself authority to say something, less than you got superiority over whoever it is you want to say something to, right? Just notice where you feel really comfortable, superior to somebody, right? Now, what's been really fun is thank you, Ben. In the last year, I've had a couple of clients who have blown this idea out of the water for me, right? Where there's no possible way that I could be superior to them. One of the folks that I coach he's a shamanic practitioner. He runs a nonprofit, and he's a shamanic practitioner, a very powerful shaman, right? The guy's a wizard, magic dude. In fact, when we were sitting down talking about working together, I said, now you're not going to turn me into a frog or nothing, are you? Like, I don't know all of his powers, but I know he's powerful. And it's so fun coaching him because, well, there's lots of things fun about it, but in his world, I don't know nothing about that. I know from him sharing the kinds of things he does. He leads people on ceremonies. He astral travels and shape shifts and does all, he'd have better words than me. He does a lot of stuff. He has magic powers I don't got. And yet I always can create with him from a powerful place because I grant myself authority to speak truth to him, what I see, offer my insight, point in a direction without having any superiority over him. I don't in any way think I'm even close to his capacity, right, for insight. In fact, sometimes I'm like, how am I coaching this guy? Like, this guy can read minds and stuff. What's he need me for? Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm a mirror, right? That's the beauty of coaching is I don't actually have to be better than anybody to coach them. That's the secret of coaching, right? Rich Litvin, when I first started working with him one-on-one, my first session with him, he asked me a question. He goes, which of your clients inspire you? And at the time I said, none of them. I inspire them. And in his little beautiful British accent, he said, well, isn't that a shame? It's not a great British accent, but he does it better. And it just rocked me. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Why is it that I think I got to be the inspiring one? Why can't I just be the moron? Get paid to be the moron in the room. And I'm being hyperbolic, of course, but there's some truth to that. I don't need to know anything, really. I need to listen. I need to be able to reflect. I need to be able to say, hey, can I tell you what I see from where I'm looking and share my experiences? So this idea of superiority associated with authority, personal authority, is one I would invite you to take a look at. Where in your life, and don't just worry about just coaching or enrolling people, right? Like getting a better seat at a restaurant. Man, there's just so many times I see people tolerating stuff. I don't remember the restaurant analogies, but you're not enjoying your meal, you don't send your food back. It's like, what's up with that? Like, if I get a bad bottle of wine, I'd be like, hey, this wine's no good. You're going to have to bring me another one. Or the steak's not cooked the right way. Right? I have no problem with that. Well, some might say, well, that's entitlement. Maybe it is. But I would also call it, there's idea of personal authority. Where do you grant your personal authority to somebody else? Where do you give somebody else the right, based on their stature, power, money, social status, whatever, where do you give them the right to decide, without even saying nothing, whether you can speak what you want, right? At the end of the day, I can say anything to anybody, and they can say yes, no, go to hell, or ignore me. But it's the, I'm not even speaking it. I won't even ask, right? That's this personal authority idea. Personal authority says, I'm the only one who has say over what I do, when I do it, how I do it. Now, there are laws and things like that, and consequences, but at the end of the day, I still have personal authority to break a law. If I get caught, I'll be subject to the punishment of it. But I have, my authority is here. It's not asking anybody else for permission to speak or take an action. So where do you conflate, as I do, and I'm always finding new areas of this, your personal authority with superiority, or the need for superiority? And with that, I'm going to finish my coffee, I'm going to feed the Jacks man. If there's any way I can be of support for you, please do reach out. As I said, Luis and I are headed out of St. Petersburg in a week. We'll be headed to Arizona. So if you're in the Arizona area, make sure you reach out. We'll see what we can do to get connected. We'll be in Park City, Utah this summer, June, July, and August, then back in Arizona, September, October. If anything I'm talking about is interesting or curiosity inducing for you, you be sure and let me know. Make sure you follow Trevor. That man is doing some incredible and powerful work. My new peacefreedomconnection.com website is up. If you haven't seen that, it is intended to be a hub, a resource for the PFC movement, and an incredible woman by the name of Melanie D'Arienzo. Hey Matt, what's up? Melanie D'Arienzo has been supporting me. She is my partner in all this, and has really partnered with me in the PFC movement to bring that to a bigger place. In fact, she decided and let me know we're going to be doing an event next year, early in 2023, like a big PFC gathering, a PFC, Peace, Freedom, Connection movement gathering. I'm terrified. I'm overwhelmed by the whole thing, but it's happening. So check out peacefreedomconnection.com. Hit me up. There's some way I can support you on your amazing journey. Say goodbye, Jax.